Today you're going to continue your Inventor project on writing or making triangles. The first thing I'm going to have you do is open up your Inventor program. And you may see that your rectangle that you saved with your name and the word rectangle might be right here. If it is not, it still is probably saved and it's in your Documents folder. So I am showing you right now how to get to it. You just click the Documents. And when you slide down, it should be right in here. This is mine, Joe Schmo Rectangle. And this is about where we left off. As you can see, I can see my words, but they are in a content right now to where you can't get to it or you can't change it until you go into and actually edit it. Now, what I want to tell you is that over on the right side is my browser section. You do not want to start a sketch on top of this. You have to go inside this sketch. They're in layers. So I'm going to go over to my sketch 1 and I'm going to right click and I'm going to say edit sketch. Now that's going to let me back in that same sketch in that same plane. Otherwise I'm going to start layering sketches on top of sketches and I won't be able to access the ones underneath it unless I'm actually in it. So sketch 1, I'm right in here. Where we left off yesterday was putting the Inventor rectangle in this quad. So I'm going to start with the rectangle tool. And the default generally is just the 2-point rectangle, and that's fine. That's which one we'll use all the time. So once I click it, you can see it's activated because it's highlighted. Now I'm going to click and I'm going to drag. And I'm going to stop it right there. And if you can tell, my XY is still activated until I hit escape. Or if I right click and say OK. Now I have a rectangle by Inventor. It's nice and easy to use. The next one we're going to do is I'm going to use my line tool. And this one is going to be called rectangle from one line. And what do you remember yesterday? We selected this before we changed the size. Click out of it so that we can see that the text is real tiny. Or you could do the other way around. You could change the size to 0.05 and then type. It's up to you. Click OK. And then this one I'm going to use my line tool. And I know I talked to you before, if you saw in the last video, where you'll see the dot is yellow. You're going to click. You're going to drag. And you can see if I move around, it's going to try to line me up correctly so that I'm nice and straight. And I'm in a straight line, you can see the 0 degrees. I'm going to click, then I'm going to drag it down, and again I'm going to line up here at 90 degrees. I'm going to click over here, and it's going to try to snap me in place. And if you can see, if I come out here, it's not going to line me up automatically, but if I come in, I can see that dotted line right here. So I'm going to click there where I got that nice guide, and when I close it, my dot's going to turn green. I always want a closed figure, just kind of like in Tux Paint. If you ever use Tux Paint, if you didn't close your figure, the paint would leak out. This is the same way. You're not going to be able to extrude these if you do not have them closed. So again, I'm going to right click and I'm going to click OK. In my last box, I'm just pressing down on my wheel now to move over. In my last quadrant, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in rectangle from 4 lines. So I want to show you how these attach. And I'm going to select it to change the size. Just going to type 0.05. Click out of it so that it actually changes. And I'm going to click OK. Now this one I'm going to use my line tool. And I'm going to draw 4 lines that are random. And I'm going to make sure that they're not actually in line with anything. I'm going to hit Escape. Click the line tool again. I'm going to draw another line, again not in line with anything so that I can move these around. I'm going to click and hit Escape. Line tool again. Click, hit Escape. And then here's my last one. Click on line. And I'm going to bring it over. And I'm going to make sure that it's not lined up or horizontal with my x-axis or any of these with my y-axis. So once I have these done, I'm going to see that I can pick them up and I can move them. If I take this line right here and I click it to the end, I'm not even clicking, I'm just dragging it over here. I can pull on that red square, and it was yellow. See my yellow dot right here? I'm going to click over to where it's green. That means I've closed that. I'm going to bring it this end from the red square all the way down to, now it turned to a yellow dot. I'm going to move it over to this line until it turned green. And now I'm going to pick up this red square, bring it over here till that turns green. Then I'm going to take this end where it's a red square and I'm going to line it up until this turns green as well. Okay, so now I have a polygon, but I do not have a rectangle. That's where my constraints come in. And if I click this one and I hover over it, let's see, I'm looking for this one, parallel constraint. If I click on this tool, and I'm going to click on this side and this side, those two now become parallel. And I'm also going to click on this line and this line, so now they're both parallel. However, my rectangle is not horizontally constrained. That's where this tool, you can see the directions come up, what it's going to do. I'm going to click horizontal tool, click right here. That's going to come into play. And I also want to have this vertically constrained, and I'm going to click right here. Now I have the perfect triangle, or rectangle, I'm sorry. Now I'm going to hit my escape key, or I could go right click and OK. I'm going to bring this back in view. So right now I have all four rectangles. These dotted lines are fine. I can bring these in, show them up, size them up a little bit. Before we print this out, I want you to make an invisible square over top, because I want all your constraints to show. I want to see that you have these rectangles constrained the way I've instructed you to. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a screenshot of this, and in your Windows menu, your snipping tool should be right here. If it's not, I'm going to have you go, if you go into your All Apps, and it's in your accessories, I believe. No, it's not in your accessories. You can do a search for it. Oops, snip tool. Lots of ways, and you can see right here, and then you can click on it. When you have this engaged, you're going to click New, and what I want you to do is you're going to draw your entire screen. So all the way in the very upper left corner above your iPro, click and drag it all the way down past your taskbar until where you see your date and time. Let it go, and then you can click your copy button, but you'll still have it activated. I want you to go into your All Apps, go down to Microsoft Office. Inside Microsoft Office, you're going to see Microsoft Word. Okay, once I'm looking for my Word. There it is. Okay, you might have to activate your new application there and just click OK. So once I have my new document open, the first thing I'm going to do is type my name. I'm going to hit Enter. I'm going to hit Control V or right click, copy paste, and I have that right here. The next thing you're going to go do is File, and you are going to print. Make sure that your printer says MEM Robotics, and then click Print. Go take it off of the printer and turn it into your bin up at the front of the room.